Hello, welcome once again to the In the Lobby podcast here at Guild. Now, I do say this a lot, Harry. I always say this might be the best guest we've ever had. And that's always insulting to all of our previous guests.
Gets better and better.
So I always feel bad for it, but I'm putting it out there this time. Please welcome to the studio, the one and only P Money is in the house. P!
Big up.
How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm really good. Really good, yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, if you've been living under a rock, this is one of the OGs of, I'm going to say, the Grime scene. Obviously, you ventured out into different genres as well. P Money here in the UK. And I know you're a big gaming fan as well.
Yeah, man.
What's it like to be here at the Guild HQ?
Oh, it's cool, man. I find myself down here a lot more than like people would imagine. Brilliant place.
Yeah.
Brilliant
It is
place.
very cool.
I've showed a few people. I think I was here maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. I was showing JME around as well. He was blown away. It's just like, I don't think people know like what's here. Do you know what I mean?
You don't really get anything like this. Like when I first walked in here, I was like, how is this in the UK? Like it's not something that I'd imagine sit in like the States or somewhere like that. But in the UK, I was like blown away because I don't think there's many other places like this. No. Like this is probably one of the first.
It's kind of low key as well. It's like tucked away, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but it's in such a good location.
Yeah, like every time I tell people, I'm like, it's in Shoreditch. Like you've seen it, you just don't know it's there.
Yeah,
and they're like, really? And then when I show them, they're like, oh my God, like I walk past this every day.
Yeah, it's sick. We have a lot of good times here.
P, I want to talk about your music and we'll get to that. I want to talk about your origins, what you got going on at the minute, but let's start with gaming, right?
Yeah.
For anybody out there who doesn't know, you're a big game head, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Love to hear that.
What is it? What got you into it? How did you find gaming and what got you addicted?
Probably my dad. My dad, I remember the first game, I mean, I shouldn't have played it. I was like, maybe like 5-6 years old and he was playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And I was just there picking up the controller and just doing whatever I could. And then from there, I just got into playing games. I remember going to my cousin's house and he had, I think, was it Alex the Kid or something like that? There was a few games. Then I got into Sega. I remember having a Sega Mega Drive, battering Sonic, and then getting Streets of Rage, and yeah, man. And then eventually, when it came to PlayStation, I remember these are the days when you could go shop and buy a magazine and you'll get a demo disc.
Oh yeah.
And then that's when I got into
Do you remember?
I do actually remember.
P, how old are you? Do you mind me asking?
I'm 35.
Yeah, we're the same age.
Yeah.
So we grew up in the exact same era.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit younger, but that was still going on, right?
Yeah, that still rings a bell. I mean, it goes I remember having to obviously you put in your PlayStation memory cards and you're having to swap them out and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's come such a long way since then. I always think we've all lived in a time where gaming has developed from basically non-existent to now being you can't even imagine. If you were to back then think about what we have now, it's just crazy.
Well, it's I think when we were younger, not everybody was playing games, right?
Yeah.
But now it's it's the thing. Everybody does it.
Yeah. I mean, even the way games are now, back then, I was happy to just play a demo and just keep playing that same one.
Over and over again.
I had Metal Gear Solid on demo and Destruction Derby Racing.
Yeah.
I used to just swap between them, playing one level. And to me, that felt like a whole game.
Yeah.
It felt like a whole game, man.
All right, well, this is where we'll really show our age here. Pete, did you ever rent a game from Blockbuster?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Blockbuster. There was other ones that popped up.
Yeah.
There was one that was local to me called Apollo. I used to rent from there all the time. That was the thing, man.
Yeah.
That was, you know what I mean?
It was I've got to complete this quick because I've got 3 days or I'm going to have to pay an extra.
Is that not a thing now?
I wish it was.
Because-
It makes sense.
Well,
to
you've got the Xbox Live, the Game Passes, and you've got all of that now. So it's, in a way, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But you get actually more.
I suppose, but still, when you're buying games for console now, it's still so expensive. To buy a new story game. God. And I'm thinking already we've obviously just had, which we'll talk about later, the GTA 6 trailer come out.
Yes.
And I've just seen so many people saying they can charge whatever they want for GTA 6 because everyone will buy it.
Yeah, 100%.
No matter how much it costs, they can just hike the price up. But yeah, kind of mad that we can't rent games anymore. Bring that back. I want to rent a game.
There's just something different. I don't know if you agree about physical, holding that physical copy. It's not the same. When I download a game now, it's almost a little bit throwaway where I'm if it doesn't work out, it's oh, whatever, cool.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to love holding it, and even if it was rubbish, because I bought it and it was in my hands, I'd still play it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I find myself downloading games and then just not playing them because it's out of sight, out of mind. Just,
yeah. And it's you're not as invested because it's just a little icon on a screen. You know, it's not on your little tower stack of of games and CDs and all
but
that.
I did say for GTA, I'm gonna, you know, when the next one comes out, I'm going back to, if they do the midnight release, I'm queuing up, man. I'm
oh,
hell yeah.
Excitement.
How
That's
it used to be.
mad. That used to be such a big thing, and
I used to love it.
and now they're
FIFA.
selling consoles. You can buy consoles that don't even have like a disc drive in them anymore. Like my
Yeah.
PC doesn't have a disc drive.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore.
Times have changed.
It's a shame. You're not going to go to the shop and queue for a download code, are you?
With music, do you like to get physical copies of albums?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
I still do. Even with our most recent album, we brought out like physical CDs, vinyls.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I feel like it's definitely something that's disappearing, but still really important. Otherwise, like you could just forget within a week. You know what I mean? Just having something in sight is helpful.
I think it's stuck around more than physical copies of games have, though. Like people really like to have vinyls, and I think there was like a surge recently of like a ton of people buying vinyl players, like young people buying vinyl players and just going and collecting loads, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like a novelty, so it's good that that's sticking around at least.
Yeah, I mean, my brother literally bought a CD player, like an old school one.
Yeah.
It plays obviously perfect quality. It's amazing. It's like that authentic experience where you cop the CD, you put it in, and you can go to HMV and like browse and see if the album you want is there.
Yeah.
Rather than just it's same sort of thing with video games. Like I can get an album today and be like, I'll listen to that later or whatever, because it didn't necessarily cost me anything. It was part of my subscription.
Yeah.
But you mentioned your album there, Streets Love and other stuff, right? You collabed with Whiny, which was like a different style for you, right? Because normally you're grime, and then you mixed here with drum and bass.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that and take a step away from, I guess, what the regular listener was used to?
I guess like people look at me as like, you know, you've mastered grime, you know, you're a household name in that field. So it's like, you know, I've always said, all right, once I get to a certain point, I want to experiment. I did it before, like with dubstep. I used to do dubstep, experiment, and created a whole sound with that. And then I was like, all right, what's next? And I heard Whiny's song with someone else, and I was like, this beat is amazing. Like, I want this beat. And he was like, you know what, I've got another one you might like. And then he sent me it, and we did it. Our first track was called Buster Red, and that went crazy.
That's the most popular one from the album, right?
Yeah, that's on like 10 or 11 million streams.
Crazy.
And then after that, we just said, let's just keep working, and then ended up with an album. And it's just a whole perfect contrast of drum and bass, grime music, rap music, just all on one album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it? I think you see that a lot in hip hop and a lot of genres where, you know, an artist maybe works with a producer or another artist and there's just like incredible chemistry there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who's the producer who did a lot of albums with Nas recently. What's his name? Can't remember. But like that chemistry, it goes a long way, right? And did you find that after the first one or two, you're like, oh, we got to get an album out here? Yeah,
literally. Like we were just always thinking the same thing. He'll come up with an idea and I'll be like, oh, that's banging. I'll do the same. Or what I found really interesting about him is I could say, oh, it would be cool if you could make something like this. And in 5 minutes, he'd be like, what, this?
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's perfect. Like, the chemistry is there. And then even our live shows, I think that's our most important bit about us two as a duo is when we do it live, people are like, this is something unheard of. It's like grime at a live element is like quite hype and energetic. And then drum and bass, you dance. So then when you bring it together, people are like, when we did our headline show, they was like, this is one of the best drum and bass raves we've been to. It's crazy. I was like, well, it's because it's mixed with what grime would be like in a rave. So it's quite cool.
Is that something you want to keep going with then, like the drum and bass scene, or work more into it?
Yeah, I think like at the moment it's been like going really well. USA started to catch on to it. There's like loads of people touring US now. We toured Australia last year and we're actually doing next year again. So I definitely will continue it, but I'm never gonna like stop doing grime.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I've also seen like dubstep is starting to come back and making waves. People are already starting to hit me up for collabs and features. So I think I just want to do music that's like, it's just P Money style.
Yeah.
Like I'm at that point where I can pretty much do any genre. You can hear it and just be like, oh yeah, that's P Money. Forget what the genre is.
Yeah.
That's a P Money track, you know.
Yeah, you got the brand down, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Did the Aussies love it then?
Oh, they love it, man. They love it. It's so crazy. It's like when you go there, you'll meet people that are like, they're from near where you're from, or something, or their parents were, or do you know what I mean? It's so crazy. It's like you think we are literally the other side of the world, but they relate so much, which is probably why most UK artists, they're like second biggest market is normally always Australia. Yeah.
And I feel like the US too. I speak to a lot of people that like really enjoy the UK grime scene.
100%.
It's crazy how like far it extends, but that's pretty sick. I recently, I don't know, I've started to enjoy music. Well, I've always liked music, but enjoy like the production side of it more and more and understand. I actually recently bought myself a machine, like one of those like beat pads, because I'm just so interested in like the process of making music, but it is so difficult. Like if you don't know anything about it, it's insanely hard to get into, but I don't know, I feel like if you enjoy a certain genre of music, like being able to recreate it would be so cool to me. So yeah, music's definitely something I'm like branching more into. I've also been doing like a music show as well every week on Twitch on the front page.
How's that going?
Really fun. Really good. We basically just go over like a few like new tracks coming out every single week. Okay. I think actually one of yours has been on there at one point. And I just make a list and I break them down with the stream and we just go over and like vote which ones we think are the best. But it's just so cool. Like the music scene and community is just so massive, and I think that again kind of incorporating it with gaming as well is something that's like getting bigger and bigger, which is really cool.
I mean, every game I've ever played has music on it, and it's always been a dream to just make an official soundtrack for a game. At the moment we've kind of been doing that, but with like GTA, the roleplay scene. We've been playing a lot of that.
Let's talk about it.
One of the tracks on the album is called 6 Star, which is actually a track I made playing GTA roleplay, and it's about a car showroom / mechanic garage, and it was talking about fixing cars and what you can do to your cars and how fast you can make your car. And then we just released it on the drum and bass album, and people loved the track, but didn't realize it was from the GTA world until now, till we've like explained it.
Do you know what? And that's become the thing. I was explaining to Ian the other day about what NoPixel was, because I'm white listed on NoPixel as well. And my sister is, and my sister's been doing a lot of the design stuff, like house design stuff on NoPixel. But the music scene on NoPixel is incredible. Like the amount of artists I've found from like being a part of NoPixel, it's just sick, because you can role play like going into the studio to make those songs, and then also just some sick releases.
Well, you play a younger version yourself in there, right? You're in Chang Gang, is that right? Yeah. And you're a producer, or not?
No, so I rap, and I've been like linking up with people who produce.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's quite cool. A year ago, we released a video, like a whole music video that's in the GTA world, like sick. GTA characters. It's called Chang Gang Anthem if you want to search it. And I've been releasing more like that, and like people are taking it a lot more serious, because the videos are just as good as real life music videos.
Oh my god!
Like serious editing and everything.
Videos that come out of NoPixel, it's great. It's so fun. Like, and then people will go and like watch these live shows like within NoPixel, and the artists can just go and play their song, and everyone's just like reacting to it and dancing.
I need to get on this.
It's so fun.
Do you have to be?
You have to like apply to get in. But I mean, if you know people,
For anyone who's wondering like what this is like, imagine like The Sims, but every person you see is someone
is a real person.
Character.
So crazy.
Down to the police officers, people in the ambulance. That is a real person. It's not computer. It's
no NPCs.
People like you do really well on it, because you are very like energetic. I feel like you're good at creating a character. Okay. So you would be a perfect fit for NoPixel, I think.
I'm getting in.
I played it like religiously for like a month or so, and then after a while it became not really my thing to do on stream anymore, because I'm just not as like creative as some of the amazing people on there that make these mad characters. So I kind of stopped, but have you seen the 4.0 trailer? Yeah. So they're basically, there's like kind of like seasons of NoPixel, or like, I guess, roleplay servers. And the new current one coming up is 4.0, which is basically where they're just refreshing everything. There's like new designs, new textures, new cars, new animations, it's just like a massive update for a game, essentially. But they just dropped their trailer and it looks really cool. It's
like editing the current map. Think of any game. Imagine Call of Duty Warzone, and you're like, you know what? The next map, I want that building to be something else. Well, that's what they've done, but to the GTA map, they've remodeled it to how they want that world to be.
How many hours you put in, do you think? A lot?
A lot. Not as much recently because I had to focus on music as well. But yeah, there was a point like lockdown period. It was like I was on there every day.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
It is fun. People do lose their heads a bit in it, though. I think there are definitely some people that spend way more. I know my sister, when she first started playing No Pixel, Jesus Christ, like she was barely existing in the real world, because people do really get caught. I mean, it's so fun. Like it's literally living like that. On like you put your headset on and you're in a completely different world, playing a different person, living a different life. It's just like it's a bit mental, but it is very fun. You should do it again.
That's what you're at.
No, it's like
No Pixel.
We chatted there about like drum and bass and grime like coming together.
Yeah,
I know that you're also known for like bringing the world of music and gaming together as well, right? Because you did the Tundra song, which was massive, and I loved the video for that as well.
Yeah, man.
Do you like linking the two together?
That's all I've ever wanted to do for so long, is just have music and gaming fused together more at like events, shows, just everywhere, man, because they just go hand in hand. You know what I mean? There's so many times I attend events, like whether it's, an EA event or a Ubisoft thing, and it's like they'll have like a DJ playing, but I'm like, yo, you could have had like, instead of the DJ playing that person's song, you could have had that person come and perform that. Did you know that artist is actually into the game that you're promoting right now? Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many links and connections there that no one's actually trying to pull together. So
it's not that common, is it? Like, I think you've been a real advocate for it. I think I've seen you quite a lot of different gaming events here, there, and everywhere. But I remember, like, I used to love, well, I still love game, but I remember he was like always shouting about Madden and like he was doing like events with Madden and stuff, which I thought was like quite trend setting. Yeah. But it wasn't necessarily as cool then as now to be like, oh yeah, I want to be associated with FIFA. It's like more, I guess, more universally accepted as like, this is cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I remember I used to say to people, oh yeah, I play games. And they'd be like, oh, you play games? Now, when you're like, oh yeah, I play games, they're like, a bit more interest. And especially when you break it down, like when I was showing Jay Mira and we brought one of our friends who's not a gamer. He's not into gaming. But when we actually broke down, like, that these lot are playing an F1 simulator and they need, training, dietitian, it's serious stuff. That's when he was like, wow, like, okay. And then when he starts to learn, the kind of money you can earn and go on to have a career, that's when he took a real interest and started taking it serious. And I feel like that's partly our job in music as well, is to promote the fact that it is professional.
For sure.
It can be a career. Because I had the same thing with being an MC or a rapper. When you're young, and you tell people, what do you do? Oh, I MC. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They look down on you. They talk down on you. And it felt the same with gaming, which that drew me to it, to be like, make it cool. You know what I mean? Make people know, no, I game. If you think I'm cool, well, I game. So, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just,
Yeah, I think there's a lot more people that play games than you actually think, like when you break it. But then I go out and I speak to people, and if I find out they play games, I'm like almost like taken aback and quite surprised by it, because I still think it's something that's not like taboo, but also, like you said, like people, it's getting to that point where it's definitely becoming more mainstream, but there are still some people that think, oh God, like, what are you doing, spending your time on a game kind of thing. But
I still get that, like when I go up north to see my friends or whatever, and I'll say, I just hosted an event in front of whatever thousands of people in Canada or whatever, they're like, yeah, but when are we going to see you on ITV? Like, gaming's big, guys. Like, let me explain it to you. And they like, sit them down and like explain like what, if I said you can earn $1 million if you win like a FIFA tournament, like, how do I sign up?
Good luck.
Just like football, like you can play Sunday League, but that doesn't mean you can go play in the Prem. Like there's levels to it, and it's all applicable to gaming as well, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where, like we said, more music being intertwined with gaming is probably big. Because if you said to someone like a certain celebrity was there that they thought was mainstream, or like a music artist that they thought was mainstream, they'd probably suddenly take it more seriously.
For sure.
So now this thing of like, and I guess Fortnite are doing it as well. Like Fortnite hosting loads of live concerts within Fortnite itself, and people are going and watching it as if it's a real concert. And it's getting more like artists involved in the gaming space, but also creating like a mix, which I think is just really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
How many years deep into Grime are you now then?
Oh, got to be like 15 years, man.
Crazy.
Wow.
Because Grime now, like, I remember listening to Grime music before it was like the thing.
Yeah.
And you were there before it was the thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you remember that moment where it started to click into place and people started to go, okay, this is not just here in the UK, but beyond? People started to catch on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember being on a bus and it was like Bluetooth days and like infrared, and I'll never forget getting on a bus. And this was way before like social media really took off. This was like MySpace days, like early MySpace days, and you didn't really know what everyone looked like because we was doing like pirate radio stations. So you'd know our voices and our tracks, but people didn't know what you looked like. So I'd be on the bus and hear people playing my song and be like, oh, cool.
That's sick.
And there'll be, a group of kids at the back playing the song, and I'd get on and sit down. They have no idea that's me. Until like MySpace started getting bigger, and then Facebook came, and then all these other ones started coming through. That's when people could start putting like names and faces together, and it just started blowing up. And that's when I first started realizing there's other people listening. Because we had like Spotify, you have your numbers now. YouTube, you have your numbers now. You can see where people are listening from. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we were just in our own world of just making music, doing our thing wherever we're from in London, not knowing that someone in Australia was listening to you, someone in Romania. It wasn't until I started getting like, messages on Facebook from people in this in a different language. Back then, we didn't have Google Translate. So I was like, I don't even know what this person's saying, but this person's saying, I listen to your music, like, love your stuff. And then, from there, it just started getting bigger and bigger. And as social media became more and more of a thing, that's when you can start seeing where your fan base is from, who's listening, where you can tour, where you can do stuff. It's crazy how technology's grown with music, I guess. Yeah.
I never really thought about MySpace, because I remember MySpace and I was on MySpace. I never really thought about it as like a place that a lot of artists made their kind of debut.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Tiny Temper. Tiny Temper hit one of his biggest tracks is Pass Out, which originally blew up because it was a MySpace track.
That's mad.
It was on his MySpace, and then that's how he got heard and seen, and then they re-released it, big video. Temper. That's how he blew up.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I'd love to bring MySpace back. So fun. You attach like a little song to your profile. I remember you used to be able to go on and see what song people were listening to. And I guess that's like probably one of the first incorporations of like music into social media.
Literally.
Do you like the social media era of music, or do you miss some of the traditional elements
I think there's pros and cons. I think like back to the conversation of like physical and stuff. I think because of social media, and then, apps turning into streaming and download, it's changed everything. And it's like the best way to support your artist is by buying the physical. That is the actual best way. But obviously you move with the times.
Yeah, I do think that. And that recently I found out more, I guess, about the side of streaming services, and I used to think that it was like a really, really great thing for artists. And of course it is a good thing to have the exposure out there and being able to have your music on streaming services. But because of the volume of people that are using it, it actually doesn't benefit the artist as much as you think it does in terms of like at least money wise. And I wouldn't mention which platforms, but there are some out there that really don't do many favors for artists at all. So it's kind of steering me to think, okay, like what else can be done in like the music side of things in terms of how to support your favorite artist better.
Is a lot of it down to like live gigs as well now? Is any in merchandise and all that?
Yeah, I mean, if you can buy the artist merchandise, go to their shows. I mean, especially if an artist is signed, then the best way to support them like personally is to be buying as much physical stuff off them as possible. And going to their shows, just anything they're really doing really is supporting. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the streaming services are amazing in terms of reach.
Yeah.
Someone in, for example, I don't know what happened, but like 3-4 years ago, I wasn't getting much streams in India. And now all of a sudden I am.
Okay.
So I don't know if these services have made a new deal where they can now be active in those places. And now I can reach people in India. So it's like, it's got its pros, but then 100%. It's at the cost of like, well, if I said to you, oh my God, my track was played 100,000 times, you'd think 100,000 is a big number. Yep. And then when you say, but it made this much, you'll be like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
So it's like, there's pros and cons to it. It's like, the reach is amazing, but it's at the cost of what you earn.
I guess that knowledge of where people are listening gives you, I guess, insight and ways to capitalize on that as well, right?
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't have had back in the day.
No, exactly. That's one of my main tools to use, which is how I know, okay, I could tour Australia.
Yeah.
I could tour here, I could tour there, because you can see where people are from, you can see the age demographic and all sorts. So that's why I don't really complain, but some people aren't as fortunate as me. I've been in the game a long time, so I'm able to say, okay, let me make it work. But for some people, it just doesn't work. You can't make it work. It's not enough.
Is it cool to, this is a real pat on the back for you, like, but, you know, there are certain pillars of genres, and you're definitely a pillar of UK grime.
Yeah.
And that's quite like a legacy to have. Of course, you're still young and you're still evolving and bringing out your music all the time, but do you ever rearview mirror that stuff and think about it all?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like me, I'm still the guy from Lewisham. Like, you know, people still see me. I'll be doing my shopping, and they'll be like, "What are you doing in Tesco's?" I'm like, shopping, mate. Like,
I'm doing
I don't know what you want me to say. You know what I'm saying? Or there'll be times I'll be like I'll post a video. I'm in Waitrose, and I'll be like, "Oh, he's made it now." Man, I'm just going. It's Waitrose. I'm just getting a sandwich or something. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I look back at stuff all the time and look at back like how things were. Like, I was just, you know, a kid, small box room, Nintendo 64, playing Rainbow Six.
Yep.
Like that I still remember that kid. I didn't think about like making music as a career and buying my mum anything she wanted, and I didn't know you could do all of that. You know what I mean? I remember being in school and saying to my teacher, yeah, like my music teacher, you know, I want to rap, and they was just like, yeah, well, we don't have that. You need to pick an instrument. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't want to learn piano. I don't want to play guitar. I want to rap.
You're like I'm the instrument.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're the music teacher. Surely, like, there's definitely, you know, there's rappers on TV.
Yep.
There's a thing. Teach me, and they're like, we don't know anything about that. Pick an
Play the recorder.
You know what I mean? Yeah, just shaking maracas. I don't know. Like that was, you know what I mean? There wasn't really much support.
Yeah.
But again, that's what made me relate so much to gaming as well, because it was the same thing with gaming. It was like, it was just, there wasn't online when I was gaming. You just bought your game, and then unless you had your friend come around,
and the friends, whatever.
It was just you playing a game. Like Rainbow Six on Nintendo 64, you would have you, and then you would have the AI, and you could tell them what to do unless your friend came around. So most games was just playing by ourselves. And like if you told someone, you know, you're into games, it was just whatever sort of thing. The same with music. So that's why for me, they just came together.
It's a parallel, right?
Yeah,
it really is.
Literally.
Is there any games that you in the future really want to have your music in, do you think?
100% GTA. I would love to do something for like Metal Gear Solid. If I'd really want them to bring out another one, and I'd love to do something with that.
That's sick.
Yeah, big fan of Metal Gear Solid, the whole series.
You still like Rainbow Six? I've got the hookup.
I've been playing again. Yeah, I used to play it every day when it came out for like 2 years straight. Me, Jay and me. We actually did a tournament in this place in Fulham, and yeah, that was sick. We set up our own tournament, invited pros down. Don't know why we did that, because we got absolutely cooked. Like, we're not pros, and we got absolutely smoked. But we invited pros down, did a tournament. Love Rainbow Six. Started playing it again last month, and I've just been on it like every day. So yeah,
it's so good. Like,
yeah, love it.
It's the main game that I work in every year, like on the competitive scene. So I'm like their stage host at all their big events and stuff. And this year we were in Montreal for their Six Invitational, which is like their world championships where they're competing for the hammer and stuff. And I brought my girlfriend out, and it was like that was a prime example of taking someone from a different world who has no interest or knowledge of anything, and be like, "What's this going to be like?" And then you've got all these thousands of people, just like her and you and me, and whatever, all paying good money to go watch these pros compete in Rainbow Six, that in a game that now has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was just like a real cool moment for me on a personal level to be like, this is what I do, guys. This is it. Yeah.
Same. I mean, I brought my missus down to here, and I was like, you need to look at what is happening in the world. Like, there is some real cool stuff, and I wanted her to see how professional it is and how serious it is. It ain't just sit at home and game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, and
people are making a lot of money, like a lot more money than people in a lot of regular jobs.
For sure.
And a lot of professional, especially like comparing it to like traditional sports as well. Like some people are starting to really match up.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But in terms of like talking about live events, what's the music like at live events? Do they often bring out like live artists and stuff at these big events?
You mentioned it, like how you want to see more of that. You know, I mentioned the Montreal event there. That started with like an orchestra, which was sick, and it added a real like gravitas to it.
Yeah, there is a lot of orchestras in like award shows and like live gaming stuff. I've noticed recently.
Yeah, and I did a Red Bull event in Japan last month, and I forgot the guy's name, but he was like this huge like Japanese rap star who came out and did a set before the show started, the finals, and it was so cool. But it all makes complete sense. You've got the setup, you've got the stage, you've got an audience. Let's get you a Rainbow Six, all right? Let's get you on the stage. Let's get it going.
You know
Next Rainbow Six event.
Yeah.
We should have more hip hop artists, in particular, I think, at these events, because there's a lot of young people right now listening to hip hop, listening to Grime, who then go and watch these events. Yeah. We keep talking about the crossover.
Yeah.
Let's utilize it.
I think it's like slowly happening, but it's like now it's like, all right, look, pay attention and speed it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, all the time that you said you was in Japan, and it's like, that's where it would happen. They always seem to do something, a cool event, and someone will be like, right, let's get an artist, or, you know what I mean? But here, we never seem to like go for it.
We've not broken into the mold yet, I think, of like making that collaboration between live artists, especially live artists that love gaming and the game itself, which I think we need to see more of.
100%.
After this podcast, make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's just so easy to merge the two, and it's just a no-brainer. It's like you have an artist like myself with X amount of followers and X amount of people already into gaming, and then you wouldn't have that person perform and invite both fan bases, gamers, music heads, come together under one roof, and then next minute you know, even if 10% of the music heads then take an interest into gaming, that just only adds to what was there already. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds like a gaming hip-hop festival should be on the horizon, right?
My dream would be to take over the O2 and just have a load of performances, acts from all different genres, as well as like you could take over like certain areas and have, you know, this is a Ubisoft section, this is Rockstar section. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a big takeover of a gaming and music festival. That would be my dream.
That sounds like a dream.
That sounds like a very sick
should
idea,
come true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about GTA 6. Yeah. Obviously, the trailer dropped. There was all these rumours about it, leaks here, there, and everywhere.
I feel so bad for Rockstar.
They've
just had it so bad. Like nothing is. They haven't kept anything a secret, really. Like there was all those leaks of like the actual in-game images and like videos, obviously of like renders that weren't perfect yet. And then you had like one of the people that worked at Rockstar, their son just like leaking the trailer, and it's just like I feel really bad for them. You know, they've got this massive game, and every time they go to release something, someone else just puts it out there.
It's only going to play in their favour in the end, right? I think it shows the interest across the board. What did you think of it, the trailer?
Loved it.
Yeah.
My missus is so in tune with gaming now. She was the one that showed me a video that showed everything that happened in that trailer was based off something that actually happened.
Yes, I saw a bit of that. Yeah. Like all the Florida, like the crazy Floridians. Is that what they're called?
We can say that.
The crazy Floridians.
Yeah, the alligator. The woman on the car, which is crazy.
Yeah, even the old lady with the
hammers or something. Yeah, that was like a real scene.
Yeah, I never would have known that.
Apparently, I saw online the other day. Like, there's the guy. Apparently, have you seen him? The Florida Joker or whatever, with all the tattoos on his face. Yeah. He was in the trailer and he's like, "That's me, Rockstar. You owe me money."
I've seen a few things popping out like that. People are like, they owe me money.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that they're in.
But it's going to be crazy. I think when that comes out, that is going to be. It's got to be the highest grossing video game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which is why they can charge anything they want for it. Hopefully, it's not absolutely extortionate. But I know that I'm going to be buying it on, because if you want to play like NoPixel or like online or anything like that, you'll need it. Well, not online, but you'll need it on your PC to play any of that private server stuff. So I'll be buying it on console when it releases, and then I don't think it's going to come out on PC for like another year after that probably. So they're getting 2 sales out on me already, and God knows however many other people. But it's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it.
It would be cool though for you, right, to be in your car driving along, picking your radio station, and then there's P Money. Yeah. Because I always think like there's certain artists that I used to love from like the 90s, like Daz Dillinger and Corrupt, like the Dog Pound. I remember I was on Grand Theft Auto and I was like, those guys are on it. I was like, what? They're going to love the fact that they're on this.
Yeah.
But like is that the dream as well? Like to have it on the radio?
Yeah, have it on the radio on their
cool.
official game. Because I've had friends that have like got their music on there at like a later stage. Like I think it was about maybe 4 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
They added like a JME track and a Swindle track, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. But it would be amazing to actually do something on release, like part of the game. Even like with my GTA songs, I actually, you know, make the lyrics solely about the character and what happens in the game, and refer to like things from the game. So if you play the game, you'd understand and know what I'm talking about. So I'd like to actually make a track for them, not them just take one of mine and put it on. I'd like to make one.
Yeah, make one specifically for GTA.
You know what I mean?
I think that's such a good thing about like the online community keeping games like that alive, because a lot of people are fearful that or Rockstar are going to kind of tailor GTA more towards the online side, because obviously once you've played the game and it's been out, you've played it, you're probably not going to go back to it X amount of times.
Yeah.
Whereas the online scene and like servers, like roleplay servers, have been keeping the game alive for the past 10 years. So in that way, it's good that that's happening, because now they're updating the game with like you said, more songs from artists every time, because they want to keep the game up to date and valuable, which is really cool. But I'm very interested to see where they're going to go with it, because I feel like there's so much potential now that we've kind of explored the whole role-playing scene with GTA 5. So very cool.
And I think they've
super excited.
Actually made a deal.
So they have.
It's to play on those servers, you have to have 5M.
Yeah.
And they've made a deal.
I think Rockstar acquired, I don't know if they acquired 5M. Yeah, I think they did acquire 5M.
Yeah.
So they bought 5M. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. I don't know what that's going to mean I mean, No Pixel is already incredible, and roleplay in general is incredible, and what people can do is just insane. So very exciting to see them working with Rockstar.
For sure. And like one of the things that a lot of artists, it's like, I want to be on GTA, but another's FIFA, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're on there, right? On EAFC right now?
I think I've been on the last 3 or 4 FIFAs, and then now, I'm on EAFC as well.
Gamers, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, because a lot of artists get discovered through FIFA, but obviously you're already.
You know what? No matter how known you are, big you are, you're constantly being discovered. 100%. And I 100% find like, you know, I'll get DMs from people. So the track that's on EAFC now is called Low Key.
Yeah,
it's from the album, and I was getting loads of messages because when it came out on EAFC, it wasn't actually out. So I was getting loads of messages from people like, "Oh my god, this song's amazing! This is where I first heard of you, but where's the friggin' song?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's not out yet. It's on this album." And then that helped us promote the album.
So much hype though, for that, because then people
was
always
like,
can't wait.
Exactly. It was really cool. So that's another benefit for like music and gaming. It's the game gets an exclusive that's unreleased. So then fans are like, "Oh, I want this song," and the only way they could listen to it was to have the game.
Yeah.
But then people who are new to you will hear you on the game and then go and find you. So it goes hand in hand. It benefits both parties.
Song. Yeah, that's like, again, another reason that like I guess social media has been so big for music, is because before that, how could you ever tease a song that you're bringing out? How could you ever like just give a... TikTok's so good for that. Like I scroll through TikTok and I find so many artists now of like people that are just putting 30 seconds of a song and everyone's like, when the hell is it coming out? Like, give me this song now. It's just like so many great artists have come out of it.
There's so many examples now that as we sit here and talk about, I'm thinking of like the music and gaming collabs, and the latest one that was huge, obviously, was Eminem being on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's just like, that's like the ultimate version of like one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. Saying, I'm on Fortnite, guys. And he's posting about it and everything. It's like, that makes Fortnite cool again.
Yeah. Like, there's so much more. I was talking just last week about Rainbow Six. I was like, they should make me and JME an operator. Because they used to bring out 2.
I remember.
I was like, they should.
Well, they recently did like a couple of wrestlers. I think it was like Undertaker and Becky Lynch or something.
Yeah. And it was like you can have them as a skin. And I was like, well, what if we have a cool idea and you could bring us out as like operators and make it look like us, and we have a say in like what our abilities would be. Do you know what I mean? And that
what would they be? What would your abilities be?
I don't know. You know, I was thinking about it. I don't know. I think I'd have an operator that can breach silently.
Okay.
Because they already have Kavira who can sneak silently. So I was thinking I would have an operator who can only have 2 breaches, but it's a silent breach, and then it kind of levels the playing field a bit.
I think people would want to play as you, bro. 100%.
100%.
So talk about some of the artists that you've worked with. Obviously, you mentioned JME. I know you're super tight with him.
Yeah, man.
15 years in the game. So, who are some of the top artists that you've worked with in your career that you still look back on and go, that was sick?
There's a lot, man.
Yeah, there are.
Skepta,
yeah.
Gigs, Example, Ed Sheeran. There's so many. There's so many from all different genres. I've had all sorts of collabs, man. There's a big US actor I'm working with at the moment called Peekaboo.
Who's out there that you haven't ticked off that you want to?
Yeah,
Is there
anybody
what's your dream or a few people that you'd love to collab with?
Eminem would be one.
Yeah,
definitely. Eminem would definitely be one.
Did you grow up on him?
Yeah, man. Yeah. For me, he's the rapper, innit? It's just from when I first heard him, I was like, everyone was like obviously bothered about the kind of stuff he was saying, but I was like, yeah, but the way he's delivering it is like, this is incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like his lyrical ability is like, there's no other.
Yeah.
So I would love to do something with like Eminem. I'd love to have like production work with someone like Kanye.
Yeah.
Just honestly, it would be endless. We'd be here all day. There's loads of people I would love to work with. But at the moment, I do actually have a drum and bass track with Ed Sheeran.
Sick.
A few people know about it and heard it.
What's it called?
It's called Last Day.
Okay. Yeah. We can listen to that now.
No.
Oh, it's not out yet.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
Are we allowed to keep that in the podcast?
Yeah, you can keep it.
Whoa, exclusive.
Exclusive.
P Money exclusive with Ed Sheeran. That's cool.
Sick.
He reminds me of you in a lot of ways. Just sorry to interrupt you there. It's just that because like you both are obviously very successful in your fields, but you're super humble and accessible to your fan base. And it seems like that's something you're passionate about too.
Yeah, I mean, when you're from where you're from, like you just don't forget where you're from. When you start out with like not much, you kind of just don't forget that no matter what happens. You don't change.
I find that about a lot of artists from London. I feel like more so than other places in the world I've seen is that like often artists from London do stay very much like accessible to their fan base in a way, not obviously like, oh yeah, come and meet me tomorrow at the pub, but like in terms of they're very like London focused, and I quite like that. Yeah, because I don't listen to many artists that I know are from London, but I've been discovering a few more recently, and now I'm just like, oh, I could literally see them, like they were at that train station last week, they posted on their Instagram story, and I'm like walking past it and they're just like chatting with fans here and there, and it's it's a really nice thing to see. Yeah,
I mean, Ed is just as he was when I first met him. I've known Ed for like maybe 10 years now, maybe a bit longer. And he's just the same guy, same humble guy. And people always surprised when I say this. He's a way better like lyricist than me. He's a better rapper than me. People don't know that Ed Sheeran can like really rap, like really good.
He flexes it sometimes.
Sometimes, right? But I'm talking like, we was in a car park one time in Nottingham, backstage at his show. And we was waiting, and he just started rapping, and I was like, he put on his hood, and he went into character, and he was Eminem. Like listening, I was like, nah, this guy.
Eminem loves him as well, right? They've done tracks together.
Yeah. Ed's really cool, but it's crazy as well. So I was actually in Amsterdam for TwitchCon. Yeah. So I was at TwitchCon, and he was performing at the stadium. Mm-hmm. So we was just talking. I was in a hotel and I was talking to him, and then I was like, "Where are you anyway? Like, I know you're on tour. Where are you?" And he was like, "I'm in Amsterdam." And I was like, "Oh, I'm in Amsterdam." So then I was like, "You know what? I'll come through the show." He was like, "Yeah, come down." And I was like, "Oh, but I'm with a few people." And he was like, "It's cool. Just bring them." Like, so we come through, and then it was a cool experience for the people I was with, because they're just, they're there for TwitchCon, they're there for gaming.
Should have met up with you at TwitchCon.
I was there. We should have all hooked up.
God damn it, next time. Now.
Next time, Pete, give us the shout.
Yeah, my mate Fixer and his missus, they came with me, and we watched the show together, and then I was like, all right, we're gonna go and meet him, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we'll go and have a quick chat. And they're just sitting there looking. Me and Ed just talking, how's the kids, how's family and whatever, and they're just in awe, like, the life you live is mad. And I'm like, well, for me, the life gamers get to live, I love that. I love like the streamers, the big streamers, the pros, like I'm into that. So I guess like from the music world, it looks one way, but for me, from the gaming world, it looks one way.
Yeah.
You mentioned, how's the family and that, but like you're a father. How many kids you got?
I got two boys. Yeah.
2 boys. What about them when it comes to gaming?
Heavy gamers.
Yeah.
So my first boy is 9. Loves gaming, loves Fortnite. Really good at it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's actually really good. Really good. I have to limit him though. I'm like, do your housework, do you know what I mean? Do your books and stuff, then you can play. Otherwise he'll be on it all day.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's really good. Really good, man. He loves all sorts of games, you know, especially like Spider-Man. He's one of those guys who
new one.
Yeah, he'll try and clock everything in the first day. Like that's when I knew, okay, you're like your dad. You're like your dad. But then even my second son, he's only 1.5, but like I can see he pays attention to like when I'm playing certain stuff, even just holding a pad. He knows how to hold a pad in his hands.
Yeah.
And he knows that if the white light on the Xbox pad isn't on, he knows it's not on. You can't trick him.
Oh god.
And he's only 1.5.
That's crazy.
And he will come up to my little setup, my gaming setup, and he will climb. I should have took a picture, but he climbed onto my chair, and he was on his knees, and he's like trying to press the keyboard. So, yeah.
I bet that's for me. That right there is why I want to have a kid.
Teach them
for
some
moments
gaming.
like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny you said that about him knowing that the light is on, because I remember like I used to play games with my little cousins and they were like way too young. And I was like, don't interrupt my game, but you can pretend like you're playing. So you'd give them like the PlayStation controller that wasn't on and just let them play with it. But now they're too smart. You can't be
I've
doing
tried that. I've tried to, I'm just chilling in the living room, might have a game, I'll give him a controller and he'll be like, nah, come and try and stop messing up my buttons.
Oh man, that's so cool.
P, we play a game on this podcast called Survival Mode, right? So what was the last game you played?
The last game I played would be Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six. All right, so survival mode is this. You wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And you're in the game. How are you going to survive in Rainbow Six and for how long?
Oh.
You literally open your eyes. Rainbow Six is a hard place
It's a hard
to
place
live.
to survive. Have people reaching in from all corners. That's crazy.
What is
when we've done this with Rainbow Six is so hard.
How would you survive on Rainbow Six?
You have like a specific setup, right? Like every operator does something different. Do you have can you have like different guns and stuff? I've played Siege like 1 or 2 times, but
So every operator has like a certain gun, and that's like their gun they can use, and then they have certain abilities. So I would normally use Kavera. She's from, I think it's Brazil.
Yeah, she is.
She's from Brazil, and what she can do is she has a pistol. It's got like a homemade suppressor.
Right.
So you can't really hear her when she shoots, but then also she could sneak and you can't hear her creep up. So
good way to survive.
You do well at sneaking?
I could be all right at sneaking, but the survive thing, I don't know, because in Rainbow Six Siege, the people that are coming to attack you, do you know what I mean?
Are you if this is you in there, are you gonna go stealthy and sneak around and just last as long as you can, or are you gonna go attack mode and like start counting bodies?
I'm gonna survive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna sneak around.
Be on the defense.
And that's kind of my style. Is like I try and sneak around, get as much map knowledge as possible for everyone, and then try and pick people off like without putting myself at risk.
That's it.
Yeah.
Safe.
I wouldn't do well in Rainbow Six Siege. I'm literally a run and gun. Like same with like Call of Duty or anything I play, just running out there.
Yeah.
You've got to be super patient.
I know, with Six Siege,
As a viewer as well, you've got to be patient. It's like, I'd recommend watching because it is.
I would maybe say I've got like 10, 15 hours in Rainbow Six Siege, but like it's hard. It's a hard game.
It is. Pete, for anybody out there who's like listening to you talk and is like, you know what, I need to find out more about this guy. I want to listen to his new album. I want to listen to his old albums. How many albums have you got?
You know what? Not as much as people would think. I probably in total got about 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to the year.
A lot of collabs as well, though, right?
A lot of collabs, I feature on a lot of people's projects, singles, remixes. There was one that came out just the other day, actually, a remix. It's a drum and bass remix called Baddest, made by a producer called Vibe Chemistry. Features Pete and Baz. I don't know if you know about them.
Pete and Baz, those old guys off TikTok.
I
love those guys.
Yeah, man, they're on
there. I listened to that
there.
song the other day.
Yeah.
Who's writing their material? Is it them or?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know
But they're good.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, they're
good.
jokes.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
I love those guys. They got a new project coming out. But then it's Pete and Baz, JK from Birmingham.
Yep.
And a duo called Grime and Azza, who I think one's from Norwich, one's from London. They're like a big drum and bass duo, MCs. and then myself is on it. And the track came out just the other day, and the video should be coming out in a couple of days. Actually.
So you shot it already?
Yeah,
Is
really
it cool?
Yeah, it's a really cool video. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Are Pete and Baz in the video?
Yes.
Oh my god,
they got the best bit.
Have they?
Yeah, they got the best bit.
Yeah, I'm down for this.
Yeah, man.
By the time this comes out, hopefully that video's out, so make sure you go check it out.
Yeah.
But in regards to checking you out music-wise, you search P Money. What about like socials? Are you streaming at all anymore?
Yeah, on my Twitch, P Money. Most of the time it's GTA. If not, it's FIFA. But I will be streaming Rainbow Six now because I'm like on
locked in
every day, man. I'm on it now.
I'm gonna have to tune in.
All right,
fun.
cool.
I'll learn some about Rainbow Six.
You should do it. You should definitely do it.
Yeah. Well, I think
Should we wrap it?
wraps us up for the day. Yeah.
It's been so sick having you. I could talk about so much more.
Yeah, we could go forever.
I know you've been a vegan, I think, for like 7 years and stuff. I'd love to talk about that. So we'll have to just like...
We'll have to do a part 2.
We'll have to do a part 2 at some point.
Whenever, man.
But yeah, Pete, thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone at home for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Peace.